Well, you too. There we go. All right. So good afternoon, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. This is David Hittle with United Real Estate about the world being free from hunger and the striving of for the world to be free from hunger um, and starvation and all that sort of thing that too many of us have to worry about here in America. But on this World Food Day, we are here to host another episode of the David Hittle Real Estate Show. And this week, we are going to be talking about what the experts are saying about the fall housing market. We're going to talk about how perspective matters when it comes to selling your house today. And finally, we're going to talk about 4 things that help determine your mortgage rate and not any particular order. So, welcome. My name is David Hittle. I am a realtor with United Real Estate Louisville. If you have any sort of real estate needs, buying, selling, if you are thinking of renting, or if you're in need of a rental, you can reach out to me via my website, and that is Shopkentuckyhomes about the fall housing market. And if you didn't know already, the housing market is rapidly changing. It is changing from the peak frenzy that we have seen over the past 2 or 3 years. And what that means is that you probably have some questions about what your best move is if you are thinking about buying or selling a home this fall. And to help you make a confident decision, you should always with big major decisions like this, lean on professionals for insights. And here are a few things that experts, people much smarter than me, are saying about the fall housing market. We'll start with Realtor.com. A recent article in Realtor.com stated, quote, this fall, a more moderate pace of home selling, more listings to choose from, and softening growth will provide some breathing room for buyers searching for a home during what is typically the best time to buy a home. Michael Lane, he is the vice president and general manager of ShowingTime, said, quote, buyers will continue to see less competition for homes and have more time to tour homes they like and consider their options. Selma Hepp, the interim lead of the office of the chief economist, long title, at CoreLogic, put it this way. She said, quote, record equity continues to provide fuel for housing demand, particularly if households are relocating to more affordable areas. Great news there. And finally, Danielle Hale, the chief economist at Realtor.com, she put it this way, quote, for homeowners deciding whether to make a move this year, remember that listing prices, while lower than a few months ago, remain higher than in prior years. So you are still likely to find opportunities to cash in on record high levels of equity. Here in all this is that mortgage rates, home prices, and the supply of homes for sale are top of mind for buyers and sellers today, as they should be. And if you want the latest information about what is occurring in our area, let's connect today so that I can look at your particular area, person by person, and give you the best answers possible when it comes to what is happening in our area or in your particular area. And as always, you can reach out to me via my website, shopkentuckyhomes.com. If you're watching here on Facebook today, then you can easily message me on Facebook. And then if you're here today also on YouTube, all of my contact information is listed in the description of every video that I do. So the next thing I would like to talk about is the 4 things that help determine your mortgage rate. So mortgage rates are all in the news right now. Mortgage rates are going up. Mortgage rates are going up. Oh my goodness. Nobody is going to be able to afford a home. It was bad enough when prices were just going up and mortgage rates were low, but now prices are going up and mortgage rates are going up. The world is coming to an end. Well, no, the world is not coming to an end. We're just seeing a housing market shift, and while it is a shift that is not making home buyers happy, it is something that will ultimately stabilize our market and potentially get us back to pre-pandemic housing markets. As many experts have said, with housing prices going up, was unsustainable for our economy and for our housing markets. So the correction was coming. It is a correction. It is a shift of the market. So it is not anything that is predicting or promoting the end of the world. So just go with that. If you are looking to buy a home, you probably want to secure the lowest interest rate possible for your home loan, of course. Over the last couple of years, that was easier to do as the housing market saw record low mortgage rates. But this year, rates have risen dramatically. And if you are looking for ways to combat today's higher rates and lock in the lowest one you can, here are a few factors that you should focus on. Since approval opportunities can vary, however, you should be connected to a trusted lender for the most customized advice. But the first thing that determines your interest rate is your credit score. Credit scores can play a big role in your mortgage rate. Freddie Mac explains it this way. They say, quote, when you build and maintain a strong credit, mortgage lenders have greater confidence when qualifying you for a mortgage because they see that you've paid back your loans as agreed and used your credit wisely. Strong credit also means your lender is more apt to approve you for a mortgage that has more favorable terms and a lower interest rate. So that's why it's important to maintain a good credit score. You advise me on this article so that my Dave Ramsey conscience can sleep at night and is now zero or indeterminable. Do not think that you cannot purchase a home. Do not think that because you have no credit score that you cannot buy a home. That is simply false. Now, the caveat to that is it is a tiny bit harder for you to get a home without a credit score. But here's the difference. When you have a credit score, your lender is going to check your credit in order to make sure that your score is wherever their criteria requires. If you do not have a credit score, then your lender cannot determine that eligibility based solely on your credit. Some lenders don't do manual underwriting, so it is important that you let your realtor know what your situation is so that they can pair you with the correct trusted advisors. In manual underwriting, instead of looking at your credit score, they are instead going to look at your income and your debt. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, if you've purchased a home before, well, David, they do that anyway. Correct. it actually will make the process a bit easier because you are going to be providing them with the documents, with the income, with the tax statements, with the bank statement. You're going to be providing them with all of that stuff ahead of time before you even before you really would normally. If they just look at your credit score, you tell them what your income is. You tell them how much money you make. They may give you a pre-qualification letter so that you can go shop for homes. But in this case, with you already providing all these income docs and these tax docs and these debt docs and all that, you may be able to skip pre-qualification and move straight into a pre-approval, which is just a step up from the pre-qualification. So that could be helpful, and it actually may speed up the process a little bit. The second thing that determines your mortgage interest rate is your loan type. So if you didn't know this, there are many types of loans, each of them offering different terms for qualified buyers. The Consumer Finance Protection Bureau puts it this way. They say, quote, there are several broad categories of mortgage loans, such as conventional, FHA, USDA, and VA. Lenders decide which products to offer, and loan types have different eligibility requirements. Rates can be significantly different depending on what loan type you choose. So again, when you are working with a real estate advisor, make sure you find out what's available in your area and which types of loans you may qualify for. Very important. There are two people in the whole process of buying a home you need to be upfront and honest with: your realtor and your lender. Those two people are going to make sure that you get through the process and get to closing. And if you're working with a realtor, they have a fiduciary duty to keep your information confidential, not when you are purchasing a home. Another item that will help determine your mortgage rate is your loan term. So another factor to consider is the term of your loan. Just like location and loan types, you have options there as well. Freddie Mac puts it this way: when choosing the right home loan for you, it's important to consider the loan term, which is the length of time it will take you to repay your loan before you fully own your home. Your loan term will affect your interest rate. It will affect your monthly payment, and it will affect the total amount of interest you will pay over the lifetime of the loan. So again, depending on your particular situation, the length of your loan can also change your mortgage rate. It's important information to know. Finally, the fourth determination about your mortgage rate is your down payment. So if you are a current homeowner and you are looking to sell and make a move, you can use the home equity you've built over time towards the down payment on your next home. And the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau again explains it this way. Quote, in general, a larger down payment means a lower interest rate because lenders see a lower level of risk when you have more stake in the property. So if you can comfortably put 20% or more down, do it, because you will usually get a lower interest rate in compensation. So again, to learn more, you should connect with a lender to find it. And the bottom line here in all this is that these are just a few factors that can help determine your mortgage rate. So if you are buying a home, the best thing you can do is have a team of professionals on your side so you have the expert advice you need in each step of the process. And that is the biggest concern right now. It was that home prices were going up, 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 and up. But a lot of people figured out how to handle that. But these mortgage rates are the thing that's really, really uh, pounding into home buyers right now, because the longer that they are waiting, or the longer it's taking them to find their next home, the higher these interest rates are going. I have one client that I believe today they said that they had been, they're looking at a 7.25% rate right now. Just 3 months ago was a way better than 7% rate. So it is important to know what is happening in this market. We are seeing a shift in the market, and the shift is just, it's coming naturally. Supply and demand is having an impact. The Federal Reserve is having an impact. Our economy is having an impact. We will get through it. There are still homes to purchase, and home buyers will still be purchasing homes no matter what the interest rate is. So now is time for perspective. If you are selling a house today, perspective matters today. So again, this housing market may have you questioning whether it's the time to buy or sell a home. And if that is the case, perspective is key. And here are some of the ways a trusted real estate professional can explain the shift that's happening today, and why it is still a seller's market even during this housing market cool down. So the first thing here is that there are fewer homes for sale today than there was before the pandemic. As I indicated earlier, our housing market is starting to shift towards a pre-pandemic housing market. You have to think all the way back to like 3 years ago. 3 years ago, when before this thing called a pick and show, the homes on the market today are still less. Market is down 31.8% over 1 year ago, over 2021. Our current housing supply is down 1.1% over 2 years ago in 2020. And our housing market, our housing supply is way down from the historic craziness of 2019. So right now, housing supply is still at historic lows. Historic lows from where we were in the past. But why does that matter? Why does it matter that housing supply is lower than it was during the pre-pandemic era? Well, when inventory is low and there's still demand for your house, it just means when inventory is low, there is still supply for your house, because there just aren't enough homes for sale. Less competition among your neighbors. Maybe all of your neighbors in the neighborhood are not selling their home right now. Maybe they've given up. Well, if you have not given up and you are looking to sell your home, housing supply is low, but the demand is still there. Another thing that points to a good time to sell, and why we are still in a seller's market, is that homes are still selling faster now than they were back during the normal years. So if we look back all the way to 2018, March of 2018 to be exact, the average days on market for a home was 42. Back before the pandemic in February of 2019, the average days on market was 49. That's how long it takes for your home to sit on the market and to go from on the market to pending. Just to pending. It's not even closed yet. But the average days on market, 42 in March of 2018, 49 in February of 2019. January of 2020 and February of 2020, we still saw 41 days on market on average. But as the pandemic hit, houses started selling a whole lot faster. During April, May, June, July, August, and September of 2021, the average days on market was just 17. 17 days on market. You put your house on the market, 17 days later, on average, it was already pending. Today, which we're looking at August because that's the earliest data that we have, but August is starting to see an increase again. We're now at 16 days average days on market for a home, but that is nationwide. If you check out my market update that I put out once a month, you'll see that in our area here in Louisville, the average days on market is actually going up. Other areas of Kentucky, the average days on market are way higher than 16. And then, of course, individual zip codes have a faster days on market than other areas. But the average days on market nationwide is 16. And here in Kentucky, it's like 20 plus. Or here in the Louisville area, it's like 20 plus. So even here locally, our average days on market are already going higher than the average nationwide, for one, and our average days on market are increasing here as well. But what does that mean? While it may not be as fast as it was a couple of months ago, homes are still selling much faster than they did in more normal pre-pandemic years. So if you price your home right, your home could still go under contract fairly quickly, which is good for you, good for the buyer, and good for everyone. Finally, the last thing that makes it a great time to sell a home and makes it a seller's market still is that buyer demand, while moderating, is now becoming more in line with more typical years. So a couple of months ago, you may have received, if you put your home on the market, you may have received 3 to 5 offers. There were things called bidding wars going on where one buyer would bid 100,000 and another buyer would bid 125, and then another one would come in and say, well, we'll put an escalation clause in there so that we can beat everyone else. And then some would go in there and, well, we'll put in an appraisal gap contingency. So even if the home isn't worth what we're offering, we're still going to pay what we're offering. Bidding wars are starting to come to an end, especially here locally. And again, depends on the area, depends on the neighborhood, depends on the market. But by and large, bidding wars are starting to come to an end. And 3 to 5 offers is not the norm. The peak for offers, so the best time, I guess you could say, to have sold your house would have been April of 2022. In April of 2022, the average home nationwide received 5.5 offers. 5.5 offers for one house. Of course, pre-pandemic, we never went above 3. 3 being the average. We stuck around 2, 2.5. During summers, that would go up. During the winters, it would start to come down again. But 2, 2.5 is the norm. We're starting to go back to that. July of this year, the number of offers, average number of offers fell to 2.8. August, it had fallen to 2.5. And those are typically times when the number of offers were going up because of the selling season. So demand is returning to more typical levels. But what does that mean? What's the takeaway of that? Well, buyer demand moderating from the pandemic peak, but it still hasn't disappeared. There are still people out there wanting to buy homes. So the buyers are still out there. And if you price your home correctly at current market value, you'll still be able to sell your house today. And that's what's most important. So the bottom line here in all this is that if you have questions, you're thinking about selling your home, you're looking to upgrade, you're looking to downsize, you're looking to relocate. Maybe you're here from a different state. You've moved to Kentucky because it's less expensive down here. If that is the case and you have questions about selling your house in today's market, let's connect. That way you have context around what's happening now so that you are up to date. Everyone, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I don't like to take a lot of time here on football. I know it's football season, and that's what most people are doing is watching football. So I don't want to take too much time from that. But I do want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, for supporting me, for sharing my live videos, and just telling your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors about me, because that is how I continue to be a successful realtor. So until next week will be another special national day, and I'll tell you what that is next week. Until then, I hope you all have an amazing day. Enjoy the weather, a little cool. Fall is here, but it is still pleasant. Go out and enjoy it with your family, your friends, and everyone around you. Until next week, I thank you all for watching, and you guys all have a great day.